I finally made it to graduation day. Yep, today is the day I walk across the stage and get my diploma. I wasn't feeling so excited because, after months of job interviews, I had no offers. Many entry-level jobs required 1 to 3 years of experience, which I did not have. My lease was up in a few months, and I experienced freedom during college. Therefore, going back home was the last option. For those few months, I continued to work at the drugstore and my landscaping gig. The drugstore did not allow me to get 40 hours, but I used the extra time for job searching. I was feeling down when I finally had to move back home with my parents. I remember telling myself not to unpack my things because the living arrangement was only temporary. While searching for careers, I noticed certain degrees were in high demand: engineering, accountant, information technology, education, nursing, social worker, etc. Yep, all degrees that I do not have. I was kicking myself for not going into industrial engineering. Luckily, I had 2 interviews coming up for a rent-to-own store and an insurance company. The interview for the rent-to-own store went well, and they offered me the position at $13 per hour. This was a tough decision because the job duties mainly included taking people's furniture back who didn't pay. I imagined myself going into people's homes and taking the refrigerator or the kid's bed. Also at the time, I hated to move furniture because my sister was moving every year. My sister had couches, tables, beds, heavy stuff, and was always on the top floor at each apartment. So I told the manager, please give me a week to think about it. Plus, the boys and I had our yearly week at Myrtle Beach. My trip to Myrtle Beach wasn't wild, like in the past years. I knew I was facing some employment issues once I returned home. One night at the beach, I remember getting tipsy and playing some basketball with some Asians and Hispanics. My friends are around 6'3" and 6'4" in height, and we completely destroy them in basketball. I still can hear one girl at the park that said, "Y'all smell like a brewery." After Myrtle Beach, I returned home and called the rent-to-own store. I was about to tell them I declined the position, but hell, the job was already taken. I guess opportunities don't wait for anybody. The next interview was 100 miles away in Charlotte, North Carolina. My sister worked for the insurance company at that time, and I made sure she was on my resume. It's not what you know, but who you know and how they know you, i.e., networking. The insurance company had all the people waiting for the interview lined up outside the office. After looking around, I noticed everybody was twice my age and bald with long resumes. My resume was barely 1 page with a large font for the text. I remember saying, "Look at this mess, but practice makes perfect." I did not get the job. Now my spirit was lower than all flats on a car. I was at rock bottom at the time. A college graduate that graduated magna cum laude with no job and living at home. Since I could not help myself, I finally got on my knees to ask God for help. I told God, everything is in your hands, and I will not worry but believe in your power. The next day, while browsing the internet, my mother told me to search for North Carolina jobs. I typed in North Carolina and industrial technology in the search engine. I applied to the very first job that was in North Carolina and required my degree in industrial technology. A week later, I had a phone interview, and then they wanted me for an on-the-job interview in Sanford, North Carolina. My mother and I drove up to North Carolina, and I walked away with a new job. The job in North Carolina asked for my starting wage. I told them proudly, I want to make $33K per year. The managers laughed and said, "We will pay you $40K per year." What I learned from the experience: always continue to work on ways to improve your life. The world is very competitive, and life is a competition for resources. In the private sector, successful companies focus on a concept called continuous improvement. Continuous improvement is a system used to increase profit, production, efficiency, and customer satisfaction while eliminating waste. We need to practice continuous improvement on our lives. Sometimes we may have to go backward for us to move forward. This is okay as long as we are working on getting better. Build your life on one's integrity and values. I knew it wasn't right for me to work at the rent-to-own store. Hard decisions based on your values and integrity are usually the right decisions. Choose wisely the degree you pursue in college and make sure it's in high demand. As of right now, I do not qualify for several engineering jobs, because I do not hold an engineering degree. I can perform the work but will not be considered due to my educational background. Also, your degree and/or skill set needs to pay for your lifestyle and student loans within reasonable time, less than 10 years. The real world operates on money, and money provides us options in life. Form a relationship with God. He is there to help and guide us in life. In the book of Proverbs 3:5, it says, "Lean on, trust in, and be confident in the Lord with all your heart and mind, and do not rely on your own insight or understanding." Talk to God during the good times and bad times. He loves to hear from his children. God will send people in your life to guide you, but you have to listen and trust God. Shortly after praying that God would take control of my destination in life, my mother came to me with information to use while searching for employment. God sent my mother to talk to me, and I listened, then acted. God uses people to set things up in life. Many times we will not understand his plan, but continue to believe in God. Be aggressive with your starting wage because there may not be another opportunity to increase your salary. I discovered that your starting wage is the foundation, and increasing your wages may be slow. I should have come in at $50K, but I agreed to $40K. It took me almost 10 years to make it to $50K. Please do not be like me and be a little aggressive on your starting wage. You can use the internet to find the starting wages for most companies. Also, those same websites will show the salary range too. The website I used is called glassdoor.com, and it's available on your smartphone too. Remember, all jobs have a cap or top paid salary for every position. Do not be like me and come in at the bottom of the salary range. I was desperate and ignorant about the job market at the time. My stupidity led to undervaluing my skill and left thousands on the table. Do not be desperate in life because it will cost you dearly. I wanted to get out of my parents' house so severely and choose a job at any livable salary range. I performed at a $75,000 pay grade but only made $40,000 a year. My schedule was hot, long, and dangerous due to being desperate. However, I was happy to at least find a job. Many of my classmates were still working part-time gigs after college.